Hey guys, I just got the Logitech Combo Touch for my iPad Air 4th generation. I've always wondered if I would be able to travel with just my iPad and be able to do a light amount of work with just a keyboard attachment. I recently got a chance to do this on a short trip, and it was an eye-opening experience. So today, I'll tell you guys how I ended up choosing the Logitech Combo Touch over Apple's Magic Keyboard, what's so great with it, and what's not so great. Let's go. So when I first made the decision that I wanted to get a keyboard for my iPad, there were only two options I was considering: Apple's Magic Keyboard and Logitech's Combo Touch. At first, I thought the Magic Keyboard would be the best option because it's a first-party accessory, and I know I like the typing experience on the Magic Keyboards. But the Logitech Combo Touch beats the Magic Keyboards for these three main reasons. So the first reason is a function row. I wanted a function row, and unfortunately, Apple didn't refresh their keyboards to include a function row for older iPads like my iPad Air 4th generation. I was considering this as an optional nice to have, but I think it's better to have it to make it be as close as to a MacBook experience. The second reason is Apple's Magic Keyboard left the iPad with no protection if I just wanted to use the iPad by itself. I didn't like this because that meant I would have to be really careful when I'm handling my iPad, or I would have to put back on my old case every time. I found this to be annoying and not worth the hassle. Logitech's Combo Touch is perfectly designed to handle this by being a case plus a detachable keyboard. Lastly, the price of the Magic Keyboard is a whopping $299, which is a lot for just buying an accessory to an iPad. While the build and design are pretty amazing on Apple's, I think the Logitech Combo Touch offers a better value of features for just $199. And I was able to find it on sale on Amazon for just $129, which sealed the deal for me. Okay, let's talk about some of the things I liked about the Combo Touch. First, after using the function row, I really felt that it was essential to having a great user experience with the keyboard. It's just so much easier having quick access to things like volume and brightness with just a tap. Next, the protective case plus detachable keyboard makes this type of design a winner. The case on its own is very good quality with hard-woven textile surfaces all around and rubberized edges to protect the iPad from drops. The detachable keyboard leaves the iPad still protected with a usable kickstand when I just want to use it as a tablet for watching videos. Next, the keyboard keys have a great amount of travel and weight, which make them feel really good to type on and also have a very natural typing experience. There's enough spacing between the keys where my fingers don't feel cramped, and there aren't any awkwardly placed keys that will make me mistype. Also, the backlit keys are a great plus when needed. Next, the keyboard is powered by Apple's Smart Connector, which is the same as the Magic Keyboard. No Bluetooth needed, it just works instantly as soon as it's attached. Lastly, the large trackpad makes multi-touch gestures and pointer control really easy. There's also a nice click feedback when pressing down on the trackpad. Okay, now let's talk about some of the things I didn't like so much on the Combo Touch. First, the folding design makes the Combo Touch take up a lot of space in terms of the depth. I was able to work just fine on smaller tables, but on really limited spaces like on an airplane, there just wasn't enough room to fold out the kickstand. On my flights, the only way I could use the keyboard was to prop the tablet up against the seat in front of me and keep some weight on the keyboard to prevent it from sliding down into my lap. Next, the keys are not programmable. For example, there is no escape key on the Combo Touch. Logitech has replaced it with an app switcher. While Apple lets you modify the keys in settings, it's only limited to a few options such as the caps lock or option keys if you wanted to use it as an escape key. Fortunately, I haven't really seen a use for an escape key on iPad OS. Next, the kickstand design makes the iPad difficult to use when you're not on a solid surface, such as your lap or in bed. While it was usable for me in these situations, the keyboard base isn't sturdy enough to keep the iPad from wobbling. Next, I encountered an issue where the trackpad cursor disappeared entirely. The keyboard and trackpad gestures were still usable, but nothing I did, including reattaching the keyboard, was able to get the cursor back until I restarted the iPad. Lastly, the Combo Touch adds a bit of weight to the overall package, just a little bit over 2 pounds, including the iPad, with more than half of that being the Combo Touch. It was just a little bit more than I was expecting. Okay, now time for some final thoughts. Turning my iPad into an on the go productivity device was a great decision because the iPad can really do so much more by just adding a keyboard and trackpad. It's almost bleeding the lines of a MacBook, but of course, this is not Mac OS. And there are things that the iPad OS just can't do. But that's for another video. For the keyboard, I think Logitech's design is more practical for everyday use than Apple's Magic Keyboard. Being able to have a fully protected iPad with or without the keyboard just makes it easier to switch between different use modes. With the kickstand design, the trade-off is that it might prevent you from using the keyboard comfortably in space-limited places, or you might have to endure some wobbly typing on unflat surfaces. For the price and features, the Combo Touch beats Apple's Magic Keyboard. Sure, Apple's hinge design is nice and might allow you to work in some tighter spaces, and the build material is very premium. But these reasons weren't big enough to justify the price difference when the Combo Touch just gets the job done well at a more affordable price. So I want to know how you guys feel about using your iPad with a keyboard. Did it live up to your expectations? And what did you choose for your keyboard? Was it Logitech, Apple, or something else? Let me know down in the comments below, and please make sure to hit that like button to support the channel and see more tech. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.